Ladies and gentlemen, from New York City, Joe Garagiola.
Thank you. Ah, you're great. You're simply great. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alan, and welcome to another edition of To Tell the Truth. And our first guest is an extraordinary man of the theater. He has made Italian mosaics from the 4th century, made them come alive right before your very eyes. You're going to see what I'm talking about right after we meet our panel, okay?
Here is Gene Rayburn. Peggy Cass. Cullen. And Lynn Redgrave.
Lynn, you've been watching too many guys hit home runs the way that hand
Yeah,
slap
I
and
like
all
the way
that.
they do that, so I just want to keep into the gang and do the same as they do.
Okay, all right.
Peggy said she'd hit me if I didn't.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got a real treat for you, and we're going to meet him right now. He's an exceptional theater man.
Number one. What is your name, please?
My name is Orland Corey.
Number two.
My name is Orland Corey.
And number three.
My name is Orland Corey.
Here is Orland Corey's theatrical tale. I, Orland Corey, am the director, adapter, and producer of a religious drama based on the book of Job. My dramatization draws its inspiration from the early mosaics of the Byzantine churches. 3 pictures will help you better understand my concept. This is an actual mosaic of a church window in Ravenna, Italy. The next picture is of the actor who plays Job. A mosaic pattern has been painted on his face, transforming him into a living image. Now, a full view of Job in his gleaming mosaic costume. All the players are similarly made up and costumed. For instance, here is Mary Lee Hebert Slater in the role of Job's wife. As you can see, the inherent static quality of mosaics comes to life as Mary Lee moves across our stage. The book of Job, with its timeless questions of divine purpose and human action, is as significant and contemporary today as it was in biblical times. Signed, Orland Corey. I looked at Mary Lee the way they painted her. If they'd ever painted my head, boy, they'd have had to use a roller, I'll tell you that. We're going to be back after these messages. Okay, panel, remember now that these 3 gentlemen all claim to be Orland Corey, director and producer of a theatrical presentation based on the book of Job, which all performers are made up in the manner of church mosaics. And Peggy Cass, we're going to start with you.
Thank you. In Ravenna, with the mosaics and everything, what kind of art is that? What kind of, number 3, I'm sorry, what kind of art is that called?
That's mosaic.
Well, I know, but and what's the style of what art? It's more than just mosaic. There's a sort of a genre name to that.
The word is Byzantine.
Thank you. And number 1, where do you present these shows?
We're currently running in Pineville, Kentucky.
Is it like a morality play?
I would call it a morality or a mystery play, yes.
Thank you. And how many acts does it, number 2, how many acts does it come?
3.
And number 1, give me 3 of the troubles that hit poor Job.
Well, he lost his wealth. He lost his wife. He lost his friends. And there are even more.
Oh, I know, but what kind of a skin affliction did he have?
Well, some people call it boils. It's probably boils.
Poor Job. No wonder the poor thing was always sad. Now, number 2, has anyone ever approached the stage from your angle, from the angle of doing with those wonderful makeup and the Byzantine approach?
I'm sorry?
Oh, all that again. Well, number 2, has anyone ever approached, done a play using your visual, the way you do it visually?
No, this is quite unique.
Thank you. Now, number 3, since Byzantine art is very short on perspective, do you use just against a flat drop, or do you use sets that have perspective?
Well, when we're playing in a church or temple, we play against the altar itself. But outdoors, we...
Well, that means that we move on. Got a half answer, and we go to Bill Cullen.
Number 2, judging by the way that lady was made up and dressed, that is part of the unusual part of this play. Now, what else is unusual? Is it pantomime, for instance, or do they speak?
No, of course they speak, and there is a great deal of chanting.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing is integral with the whole conflict of Job.
All right, number 3, thank you very kindly. Back to you, number 1. You likened mystery to morality in describing the play. I have seen in the listings a mystery, and I tune in to see a mystery, and I see a morality play. What is the similarity? Why are moralities sometimes called mystery plays and vice versa?
Well, mystery plays are biblical. That's why I say mystery. Morality plays may be a myth, not necessarily from the Bible.
Now, number 1, when you...
That means it's your turn, Lynn.
Is it indeed? Number 2, are you English?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Number 3, could you give us the opening lines that Job's wife speaks in the play?
Dost thou still retain thine integrity?
Thank you. Number 1, could you give us the first line that Job speaks in the play?
I haven't seen it lately, but I would think it speaks to his wife. I don't know the line. I've never played the part.
Number 3, how long did it take you to write and adapt this play?
About a year.
Number 2, who does the makeup for the artists? Do they do it themselves?
Those that have been with the company a long time, they do it themselves. It can take up to about 3 hours, but the ones who are very experienced can do it in 30 minutes if they have to.
Number 1, who made the costume?
Buzzer. That's great when Lynn talks to number 2. It makes you want to go out and get the coffee, right? That's great. I enjoyed that. Gene?
Thank you. Number 3, I take it this is not an equity company, is it?
It has been in London and in New York. It is not when it's played out in Kentucky.
Well, now, did it originate, number 3, did it originate in Kentucky?
Yes, it did.
And number 2, where did yours originate?
Well, the first, in point of fact, the Religious Society of London for Drama commissioned me to do this.
Thank you. Number 1 is, I gather there is a difference in the mosaic story versus the biblical story. Is that true, or at least that was implied here?
Well, the mosaic we saw was Justinian from San Vitale, which is a Roman emperor, actually.
So it does...
Well, that means that our game is over, and now they must mark their ballots. They must vote. No changes, no consultation. Do you think it's number 1? Or do you think it's number 2? Or do you think it's number 3? $50 for each incorrect vote, and $500 if all the votes are wrong. And Peggy, you started off. How did you vote?
Well, I think 1 and 2, it's just wonderful to have English people who are always scared that if it's something cultural, they've got to be English. But number 3 didn't want to tell me Byzantine, and then he had to tell me Byzantine. So I bet on him because he was a bacon.
For 3, all right. Bill Cullen.
Yeah, number 3 also, whether he was right or not, at least ventured to tell us Job's wife's opening words in the play. And number 1 did not remember Job's opening line, which was, I am beginning to run out of patience. Anyway, based on that, I voted for number 3. Wife.
You're really bad, Cullen. Lynn.
Well, I didn't vote for number 1 for the same reason as Bill Cullen, because he seemed to have forgotten the lines of the play. And I voted for number 2 because I thought it was just the sort of thing an Englishman might end up doing in Kentucky or elsewhere.
Boy, you English really stick together. Gene.
You're wrong, Bill. It was, get the peroxide for these boils. They're killing me. No, yes. The number 3 really, to me, looks like an entrepreneur and a theatrical impresario, so I voted for him.
Okay, now keep in mind, panel, if all the votes are wrong,
call it now,
it's
Joe.
$500, okay?
Don't give us that,
Stop
Joe.
smiling, one.
All right, let's ask that great question. Will the real Orland Corey, please stand up.
Eating.
Oh, Orland Corey.
Got it. Up.
Okay. Let's find out who the imposters are now. Number one, what is your name and what do you do?
My name is Robert Diffenderfer. I'm the manager for Pierre de Antiques in New York.
Now, number two, what is your name and what do you do, sir?
My name is Peter Anderson, and I work as a photographer and teacher at the International Center of Photography.
Well, now, earlier you recall we had a glimpse of Mary Lee Hebert Slater, an actress who is the director of the Job Chorus. Now, accompanied by music composed by Johann Franco, she will now perform a number called The Hope of Tree from the book of Job. Here is Mary Lee Hebert Slater.
There is hope of a tree if it be cut down, that it will sprout again, and that the tender branch thereof will not cease, though the root thereof wax old in the earth, and the stock thereof die in the ground. Yet, through the scent of water it will bud, and bring forth boughs like a plant. If a man die, shall he live again? Shall he live? All the days of my appointed time I will wait, till my change come. Thou shalt call, and I will answer thee.
Congratulations. Thank you very much, Mary Lee. Thank you. And thank you. And our two imposters for playing our game. Thank you very much. Okay. Hey, Carol Burnett, Lawrence Welk, Melvin Belli, and Barbara Walters all share a common personality trait. No, it isn't. They don't know where the next buck's coming from. They know that.
They're all left-handed.
They're not all left-handed. I'll tell you, you want to find out? You think you know.
I bet I do.
2 minutes, we'll all know. Okay, we'll be back.
6767.
Well, have you figured out what Carol Burnett and Lawrence Welk and Melvin Belli and Barbara Walters have in common?
Yes.
Have you guessed? What do you think, Lynn?
Yeah. Well, I guess because she said it first, so I'll let her answer. That's Peggy.
What do you think, Peg?
They're all shy.
Gene, what do you think?
They're all
Oh, really?
insecure.
Insecure. I see. Wonderful. Bill?
They're all right-handed.
All right. No, that was very bad. Okay. I'll tell you what, our next guest can tell us, and he'll tell us how they learned to cope. Let's meet him right now.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Philip G. Zimbardo.
Number two.
My name is Philip G. Zimbardo.
And number three.
My name is Philip G. Zimbardo.
Here's what Dr. Zimbardo has to say about shyness. I, Philip G. Zimbardo, can tell you how to cope with shyness. At some point in our lives, all of us have experienced periods of shyness. Surprisingly, many public figures, such as Johnny Carson, Carol Burnett, Lawrence Welk, lawyer Melvin Belli, and Barbara Walters, admit to this common problem. Fortunately, each has found a way of coping. My research indicates that not only are certain individuals more shy than others, certain cultures are shyer than others as well. It took me 5 years of research on over 5,000 people to write a book entitled Shyness, What It Is, What to Do About It. Signed, Philip G. Zimbardo. And we'll begin our questioning with shy little Billy Cullen.
Okay, I'll start with number two because you're in the middle. I know all of those people there, and several of them I know quite well. I ask you this question, number 2. You say they all admit, they and many others admit to being shy. Don't you think sometimes an admission of shyness by a performer or a politician is not necessarily always true? That they prefer you to think they're shy and they're merely overcoming this shyness, as opposed to being outgoing as they are?
Well, that may be the case, but my interviews with these people didn't at all give me that impression, no.
Okay, number 3, some people who admit to being shy, do you think they are really shy or really not shy?
They really are shy. If they've admitted to it, there is some inward shyness.
Number 1, is being shy all that...
Too bad, Bill. Let's go to Lynn Redgrave.
Thank you. Number 1, you say that certain cultures are shyer than others. What cultures, for example?
Well, for example, in Israel, shyness is low, and in Oriental cultures like Japan and Taiwan, shyness is very high.
Thank you. Number 3, are there any physical manifestations to extreme shyness?
What do you mean by physical manifestations specifically?
Well, all right, I was hoping you'd give me them, but how about blushing? Is a natural blusher necessarily a shy person?
It's part of the qualities: blushing, butterflies in the stomach, nervousness, queasiness.
Number 2, how best can you overcome shyness?
Well, there are many ways you can overcome it. One is by training yourself to handle the outward manifestations of your shyness by recognizing what they are and dealing with them. Another method is to seek help from people that you have confidence in.
Thank you. Number 1.
Buzzer, and let's go to Gene Rayburn.
Yes, thank you, Joe. Number 3, what are you a doctor of?
I'm a doctor of psychology.
And number 2, I take it you are the same type of doctor?
Absolutely.
Where did you do your research, number 2?
Stanford University.
And number 1, you too are a doctor of psychology?
Yes, that's right.
And clinically, do shy people have something in common? Is it, does it come in the neurosis family, number 1?
No, it doesn't. Nobody's ever taken the subject seriously before this research.
And number 3, what kind of questions in the questionnaire? I take it you interviewed all of these people, the 5,000 people.
Not personally.
No. I mean, did you have researchers who did the interviews?
Yes, we did.
And let's move to Peggy Cass.
Thank you. Number 1, what causes shyness?
Oh, there are a great many causes of shyness, and there are a great many types of shyness.
Well, number 2, do you agree that blushing is a sign of shyness? Because I'm a notorious blusher.
Absolutely.
Oh, I never knew I was shy. Now, number 3, isn't it true that the really shy person wouldn't stand still for an interview? A really shy person would retreat from being interviewed.
Not so. Some of the answers given in the questionnaires were done by a fill-in questionnaire, not necessarily done by interview. Sometimes a shy person does wish to be interviewed when he feels it is to help himself.
Well, number 2, is a stuttering a sign?
Well, Peggy, right in the middle of the sentence. That means that our game is over. Now it's time to vote. They must mark their ballot. Do you think it's number 1? Or do you think it's number 2? Or do you think it is number 3? $50 for each incorrect vote, $500 if all the votes are wrong. And Bill Cullen, you got us started. How did you vote?
Yeah, well, I never got one thing to say. A lot of people I know and know about who claim to be or admit to being shy, claim or admit that merely to cover up the fact that they aren't too shy. Anyway, that was my point. And I voted, and I just, I'm too shy to give you my number, but I will anyway. It's number 1.
You voted for number 1. How about you, Lynn?
Well, number 1 hedged the answers a little bit. Number 3 seemed a little shy, so I voted for number 2.
I tell you, the logic always gets me on these shows. Gino, how'd you vote?
Well, the fact is, I am a truly shy, retiring, modest individual. And since I am shy, it takes one to know one, so I know it's got to be number 3.
All right. Peggy.
Did you ever hear that song? I'm shy.
No, sing it for her. Sing it.
I think I hit a clinker on the first 2. Okay, I voted for 2. It is a terrible affliction to be shy.
All right. All the votes are in, so let's ask that great question, and I love this part of the program. Will the real Philip G. Zimbardo please stand up? find out who the imposters are. Number 2, what is your name and what do you do?
My name is Joe Garagiola, and I'm a stockbroker.
Number 3, what is your name and what do you do?
My name is Nicola Zongi, and I'm proprietor of Restaurant Zongi in Glen Cove, Long Island.
Let me ask you, Doctor, where do you conduct your shyness studies?
Primarily at Stanford University, but the research has taken us all over the world.
Which people are the most shy and which the least?
The least are Israelis and American Jews, and also people in mainland China. The highest are in the Oriental cultures, other Oriental cultures, Taiwan, Japan.
You got 3 Italiano names up there. Me makes 4. How do we stand?
We tend not to be very shy in our behavior, but sometimes there's a little hidden place down there where we get shy with strangers.
Really?
Especially when they're not Sicilian.
Well, thank you very much, Doctor, and our 2 imposters for playing our game. Thank you very much.
It's amazing.
I don't care what Dr. Zimbardo says. I'm too shy to say goodbye.
In addition to the cash awards, our first team of challengers will receive Sarah Coventry, the exclusive fashion jewelry you can buy from the class. Sarah Coventry, the jewelry with know-how. And our second team will receive Turtle Wax, World's largest selling liquid car wax. Cleans, polishes, protects in one easy operation. Turtle Wax with a hard shell finish. Calder speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Tubman Productions. There's more To Tell the Truth next, as Gary Moore takes over the search for the imposters. Stay with us on Game Show Network.